So they decided to make another Diary of a Wimpy Kid 5 years after the last one, and they recasted everybody. They didn't even keep the mom and dad, which I don't think would have mattered, but they didn't keep them. This movie was so hated that it started a whole hashtag for just one of the actors, not the other ones, but hashtag not my Roderick, because people hated the actor of Roderick that much. I don't think he did very good either. There was only one scene where I thought he was kind of like Roderick, and it really doesn't go anywhere. He's also very stupid. That has always been a thing for Roderick. He's kind of stupid. He's not the smartest. He's not as cool as, whatever. But, he's just dumb in this movie. That's all he is. And this movie also, straight up lies. They use Uber to get to the place, GamerCon or whatever it was called. And it's free. There's no gag they spend a bunch of money and now they have to hide it from mom or dad or something. No. Uber's fucking free in this movie. I've never seen that before, and since it's a kid movie, that's kind of a dangerous thing to promote. It's not the end of the world, but that's definitely not the smartest thing to promote in a kid movie, is to go ride with strangers in Uber, because it's completely free. Manny didn't really do anything, but Manny's never really done anything in any of the movies. He only has one line, and it's in a singing line for whatever reason. And the weirdest thing is they skipped 6 books. They recasted everybody. Made they basically got the actors as young as possible. Just to what? Skip really far down the series? Why didn't they do the book after Dog Days? I think it's The Ugly Truth is what the next one is. I'm not 100% sure though. But yeah, they skipped 6 fucking books and did The Long Haul. Very weird choice. And I don't even think they really used the plot from the book, since it's a lot of modern day shit, and J.K. Kinney, J.F. Kinney, however, what is it? Whatever it is, Jeff Kinney. That's what it is. He talks about how Greg is basically, him when he was younger. Though, more exaggerated. And, video games were that advanced. There were YouTubers and shit when he was a kid. So I think they used their own plot point, even though I haven't read Long Haul in a long time. I haven't read any of the books in a long time. But I still have 13 of them. Anyways, it's pretty bad. It's not very funny. The actors don't really do that good of a job. Riley's here for a little bit, but because the movie's a family trip, he's only here for a little bit. I thought the actor did fine for Riley. He definitely had that energy of Riley. When, he kind of snidely tells off Greg. That's something I've always liked about Riley. He's kind of a dick right back to Greg, sometimes without even really realizing it. Like in the first movie where Greg says he could be class clown, and Riley's like, oh, don't you have to be funny for that? He's genuinely asking, but it's a pretty good insult. In this movie, Greg thinks the place is 2 inches away, and Riley's like, I don't think that's how maps work. It definitely gave me Riley energy. But, I don't expect him to be exactly like the actors from the previous movies. A lot of people did. They expected them to have the same exact, charisma that the other actors did, to be exactly the same, even though they're totally different people, just playing the same characters. But I did expect them to have energy, from the characters, and Riley was really the only one that had that, and he's barely there. Frank is not Frank. He just feels like a basic suburban dad. He feels nothing like Frank. And Susan Heffley, she's just the typical mom that doesn't like people using electronics. And that's it. And they have a very cringy line about no more Instagrammy and no more snappy chatty. Very stupid. And, you know, it's not very good. You know, I don't think it's bad because it's not the original actors. It's just not a very good movie in general. And then eventually, you know, she, gives up. Like, this part was absolutely ridiculous. She calls the cops and then she's like, oh, hey, I'm about to go murder my children. She calls the cops because she's worried about her children going missing, Greg and Roderick, because they didn't come back and they should have been home by now. But then she sees on the news that they're at GamerCon or whatever. So while she's still on the phone with 911, she says, I would like to report a murder in 30 minutes. You know, I guess it's supposed to be a funny gag, but it's kind of ridiculous. She basically just said she was going to kill some people and what time she was going to do it. Very weird. Then she gets there, she embarrasses Greg, says she's going to ground him and he's never going to have a phone again. Then she gives him her phone. Don't know why, besides the fact that later he turns on the phone and the screensaver is him and his mom. So he realizes that he likes his mom or whatever, you know, that she's not just a burden. It's such like a forced, weird narrative that kids are way too attached to their phones nowadays. And the way they fix it is by him being on his mom's phone. That's how he realizes it. It's a very fucking stupid, goofy movie that just does not fit the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series at all. Actors, plot, anything. It's just not good. I do think that it was definitely a little overblown about the whole hashtag not my Roderick thing. I get Devin Bostic was really good in the first two movies. And yes, I said first two because he really didn't do that much on the third one. He was just kind of there. But I think he did okay in some scenes. He mostly wasn't very good though. He's just kind of dumb. Like, cinnamon thing explodes and he thinks it's his brains. Even though the fucking cinnamon things are white. He puts a pizza in a safe. So it's like locked in there now. Even though you think he would have remembered what time he put in. So now they don't have a pizza or whatever. And regardless, how the fuck did a pizza fit into a cheap hotel safe? Yeah, just something else. It's not even a fun bad movie.